Hi Anuj, tell us something about you.
Hi Khair, thanks for having me here. I am Anuj Bhandari. I am an Associate Director with World Trade Center Noida. Actually Viridian Group, which is the parent group promoting World Trade Center Noida.
Tell me Anuj, when Viridian took up World Trade Center and especially World Trade Center Noida, what were the major elements that you considered for World Trade Center Noida in terms of the design, in terms of the planning of the World Trade Center, the services of the World Trade Centers? What did you factor in?
One of the things with World Trade Center Noida is that it is a very large site. It is about 42 acres and nearly 5 million square feet development. We had envisioned this to be a very transformative development for the region. The region is a very dynamic region and has been so for the past decade or so. It has transformed significantly and has taken multiple shapes and forms, which is specifically Noida that I'm talking about. So our project had to sort of imbibe those principles of dynamism. It had to reflect the needs of the market as well as be able to cater to the needs of future demand by the time it's actually delivered. So the 5 million square foot development is in multiple phases of delivery, and as we go along and as we've realized that the market conditions keep changing, we have to develop adaptive spaces, almost flexible spaces. So the overall 5 million square foot development has been envisioned, to cut it short, has been envisioned as a multi-format, multi-use space. So we have integrated uses on site, which includes workspaces. It also includes some residential options. It includes institutional spaces, which are essentially support facilities, as well as commercial spaces, which take the format of convenience retail, banking, as well as some level of entertainment. Of course, food is a very important aspect as well. So there is incorporated food courts, F&B spaces, and such and such.
Tell me, what were the market dynamics of the Indian economy that you factored when you planned the World Trade Center?
So the Indian economy is going through rapid transformation. Not only do we have a rapidly urbanizing population, our demographics are largely very young. Our economy has been opening itself up to the world for the past 3 decades or so, and it has only been recently in the past decade that there has been a significant amount of momentum that has been generated from a service-based economy perspective. So India has taken the form of a service-based economy, and it has always been aspirationally moving towards a more high-tech manufacturing economy as well. The government has been taking a number of initiatives such as Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, in order to promote and support this move towards a very high-tech manufacturing economy. The way we have looked at our workspaces is, again, like I mentioned, multi-format workspaces. So these multi-format workspaces are designed and planned to cater to a variety of work sectors or industries. So we have spaces ranging from small accelerator centers and business centers to very, very large format IT focused and tech focused spaces. In order to achieve this goal, not only from a planning perspective, but also from a larger perspective, we've been working actively with the government, the state government, which is a very, very proactive government at this point, to come up with new policies so that they can attract or make themselves more attractive to, let's say, international businesses who are potentially looking at various locations in India to set up their operational units. That may be in the form of office spaces, that may be in the form of assembly lines for mobile manufacturing, that may be in the form of other related tech requirements and production units even. So one of the policies, to give you an example, that we worked with is the mobile open exchange that you're well aware of. So that was a drive, in fact you had driven that entire policy, basically to come up with a new policy to attract mobile manufacturers and allied businesses.
The electronic system design manufacturing. Yes, we started with mobile, but then ultimately we ended up with expanded it to electric system design. But I remember you were also involved in getting the warehousing and logistics also in the ESDM, which was never thought of before in the country. So you've been instrumental in working on that policy also to a very large extent, because the need of the industry was such. But tell me, when we are talking about MOCs and the role that WTC is playing in facilitating the investments under Make in India and Digital India, what was the planning that has gone behind, when it came to the design of the World Trade Center? How did you feel that, yes, it can meet up with the requirements of the industry?
It's fairly adaptive to various sorts of uses. So we have floor plates which are fairly small, ranging from about 20,000 square feet all the way up to about 100 and 120,000 square feet even, right? So this allows us to cater to a various clientele. Apart from that, what we've tried to do is that we have located all our common areas and our commercial spaces on the ground plane. So what we're trying to create here is an activated ground plane. In terms of how the architecture responds to this planning format is, we've segregated public spaces from semi-private spaces and private spaces. And this is done by means of segregating the ground plane into a public space. Vertical circulation allows us to segregate traffic which is using the office spaces and the workspaces. We also have zoning criteria which allows us to create residential spaces which are by and large private spaces on site. Now these residential spaces are also been planned to keep them in a manner to keep them fairly flexible. So we have some high-end residential spaces including service departments on site, but we also have some small format residential spaces to cater to the semi-skilled workers or the skilled workers or the lower end workers who are accessing the workspaces on site. Now all of this is under a larger philosophy which the group encompasses, called Mainstream Green. This philosophy is based on the tenets of green development and sustainable development. The principles of green development have heavily been incorporated in terms of the planning of the site. Whether it is how the site planning is happening, how much ground coverage we are using, how we are treating the landscaping, how we are minimizing heat island effects, energy efficient buildings, material selection.
The ideology of mainstream green has been at the core, but what are the 3 trends that you see now that are coming up in terms of sustainability that are being factored in the World Trade Center Noida?
In terms of sustainability, one is definitely a growing recognition of walk-to-work cultures. So integrating uses of workspaces with living spaces and places to socialize. The second thing is a deeper understanding of green development and sustainable development. So it's not just based on purely on rating systems and green rating systems, but it is also adapted to the vernacular requirements, the requirements of businesses, local businesses. So it's much more contextualized. So it's a deeper understanding of green development. And the third thing is looking beyond real estate, looking at all the services that you provide potential investors and tenants and adapting to their needs and their requirements. So each tenant has which you have much more experience with this, they have their own set of requirements, they have their own set of needs that need to be catered to, that need to be fulfilled. So there's a lot of hand holding. So it's about services that enable the real estate. And the third thing is looking beyond real estate, looking at all the services that you provide potential investors and tenants and adapting to their needs and their requirements.
USPs. I know there's always one USP, but I'm asking you for 3 because I'm sure you factored those 3 USPs in the planning of the World Trade Center.
So a lot of it is the reiteration of the fact that there are multi-format spaces. So we're able to cater to a lot of varied demand and varied clientele. Like I mentioned, with the floor plate sizes ranging from 20,000 square feet to 120,000 square feet, we're able to adapt to that very, very quickly. The second thing is, again, sustainable development. We have effectively proven reduced recurring costs, which are the maintenance costs and the operational costs, by incorporating certain innovative and certain fundamental technologies and materials that allow us to make our buildings more energy efficient and thereby reduce our maintenance and operational costs. And probably the third thing would be the fact that there is integrated uses. So within the same 42-acre campus, for example, you will find enough opportunity for workspaces for relaxation and rejuvenation, spaces for retail, convenience retail, food, F&B requirements, etc.
So thank you so much, Anuj, for highlighting the merits and the planning that has gone behind World Trade Center Noida, and how we feel that we are future ready for for the businesses that are to come. And there are many businesses that India is looking at. So thank you so much.